I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Quiet bunch.
That was kind of nice.
Yes.
All right, has everyone had a chance to review the agenda? Are there any conflicts of interest or any objections? Hearing none, the agenda will stand as written. Madam Auditor, could you read us the minutes from the last meeting?
October 17, 2023, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Ty Rosberg, Chairman, presiding, members present, Schultz, Dozark, Rosberg, Mulbauer, and Hayden. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. The board approved clerk of court fees for September 2023. A motion was made by Dozark, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the purchase of 2 Mack Granite Series tandem axle dump trucks from Housby Mack for $138,150 each, and a total of $276,300 to be paid in the fiscal year 2025 budget, subject to budget approval. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Dozark, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the purchase of 2 Monroe RSDS dump body spreader, Monroe 12-foot reversible plow, Monroe 9-foot wing assembly and hydraulic controls, mounting and painting from Hawkeye Truck Equipment for $144,039 for a total of $288,078 to be paid in the fiscal year 25 budget, subject to budget approval. Motion passed unanimously. The board discussed County Workforce Safety Advisory Group. The speakers were Bill Dickey and Kurt Miller. Kim Finneran, Public Health Director, volunteered to organize some meetings. The board met with Mariah Nutt and Drew Perrin of the CDC for the quarterly tourism report. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Dozark, to approve to rescind the burn ban for Crawford County at noon, October 17th. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Dozark, seconded by Schultz, to approve the LMR Phase 2 purchase contract. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Dozark, seconded by Hayden, to approve tax abatement for 1115 180th Street, Schleswig, Randy Sigabart, New House. Motion passed unanimously. On motion, duly seconded, the board adjourned 11:22 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. Preceding the next meeting.
Are there any additions or corrections to these minutes? Are there any objections to the minutes as read? Hearing none. Minutes will stand approved. Thank you. Okay, supervisors reports, Dave.
See that down there? On to a whole lot. Check out the bathrooms downstairs. They look like they're really, it's gonna be nice when they're done.
Yeah.
Amazing, actually.
Yeah, I really like the layout. The more now that they're getting them together, your rooms, just, it's gonna work nice. It's gonna match into what we already have for historical value. Looks good.
Dean's really gonna like the chairman's bathroom down there, isn't he?
Chairman.
Start drinking coffee again.
The other thing was Thursday, there's gonna be a meeting with the department heads. Colin's putting together with Jack Reed. She and I have kind of talked about that, and we talked about doing some fact finding on our own, but like Colin had lined up a meeting with all department heads, which to me, great, get them all in that room. Figure out the pros and cons of this avenue of PTO, and if it's a fit that we have buy-in that could potentially help with new hires down the road or being more enticing. To be a county employee.
I just talked to Sarah a little bit this morning, and the trouble she was having to get a replacement. Somebody that wanted the job, somebody that was lived in the county. She offered it to two other people and they turned it
They
down.
don't have to live in the county.
She said that, but she kind of wanted to try to keep it. So it's,
Makes sense.
Right.
but benefits, PTO and obviously the insurance were what one person turned it down for. She thinks in her mind that there's gonna be too much of a change and I don't know.
And I'm not here to blow up the system we currently have. I just wanna go in with an open mind, and if it's something that could benefit us down the road, and we have department heads that are interested in going down this road. I mean, the hurdle is gonna be the transition,
Mhm.
but
I mean, well, there's a way.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt anything to just fact find.
no, I don't, and you guys will come up with some.
For me, I just
spitballing some
want to
good
hear
stuff.
the questions and the pros and cons, just sit in the corner and listen to what the conversation is, so you kind of really understand the concerns and how Jack handles them and kind of the way, Manning did it, and the way we
I
did
know
it.
City of Manning used PTO and they love it.
They have a good plan. I got it from her.
Did you?
You talked to
Yeah.
them.
Good.
She's got, they do have a good plan.
how long they've had it in place?
I don't, and I don't know if she was even there for the transition or whatever, or if they've just had it that long.
Say anything about transition.
No, I'll email her back and see if she has any info about that.
Sure, there's.
It's interesting to see the transition and if it's something you could offer just new
Right.
employees and keep the old system in place.
Cause they have
I
two
mean,
buckets
just to have
of
that
time,
discussion.
PTO time.
And
And so the one is declared, one is like a long-term bucket. And they don't pay out that bucket at the end. So it's kind of similar to how our sick time is now, where we only pay out a small chunk at retirement,
Right.
small value, which is, no, $2,000,
Maximum.
$2,000, that's it.
which it makes sense because
Right.
you don't want employees to use this as a retirement package.
Right,
It's not meant that way. It's just
right.
to help you year to year when you need your
Right.
time off.
Yeah, and then that initial bucket, they earn they earn it based on their years of service, kind of like how we earn vacation, or the employees earn vacation now. And then there's a carryover amount, you're only allowed to carry over so much, similar to how we do it now. And certain things go to that extra bucket. So if you have too much, it goes to that extra bucket. The long-term bucket, I guess, is what I want to call it. I don't know what she calls it.
That extra bucket, do you feel is kind of there for, like a short-term disability type of a deal?
Yeah.
Yeah. kind
Yeah,
of
for planning for, yes.
Right.
Health issue.
And I don't know if they delegate it for certain uses like that. I don't know. I'd have to look at the plan again, but it had some really good,
What always
points to it.
surprises me is
really
how
good.
people just don't take vacation. We give them the nice vacation package, and you've got so many people that are just not able to take all the vacation. Have you noticed
Dare
that?
I say they love their job?
I think it means a couple things, but probably not that. Maybe that a
Did
little,
they say anything
but maybe
about-
they're just earning too much.
It was brought up about your
Well, you can say
holidays,
that. You work here, sorry.
your holidays.
Interesting.
Some PTOs, it was brought up that you have to take PTO time off for your holidays, which,
Oh,
It depends on how the
Right.
package is put together.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed, like, see what we got, 9 holidays?
10.5.
10. So if that's-
sometimes,
if
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
10
Sometimes have.
PTO day, or if you get 18 PTO days. If you want paid holidays, it comes out of that, but
Right, it would
otherwise
be,
we could say you get 8 PTO days, then we pay you 10 holidays. I mean,
And I think.
it just was brought up. I didn't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
apples and oranges,
I don't
depends
know.
on-
I'm not sure what that policy says. I'll have to look
We
at it
wouldn't
again.
want somebody to come to work on the 4th of July because they have nothing to do. So
Well,
they
if
can
it's not
take
open,
another-
you can't come to work
That's
anyway.
exactly right, but
Right.
if you say that you can use that however you want and you choose to not take the 4th of July off, you're gonna come in and,
You know, and you're not wrong, but I'm trying to think, 'cause I think that's why Christie is out of the hospital, but yeah, the hospitals are open.
Yeah,
all
that's true.
holidays,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Different thing.
Different things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after
It's gotta
reviewing,
fit.
I know.
the
they-
Yeah,
hospital
it's gotta fit
policy,
your- yeah.
does that change your mind?
Here's one of
about-
them career things.
How do you-
It could
I guess,
work.
how do you feel about it?
Like you said, though, the transition's gonna be, and that's the part we need to weed through. Maybe see a couple examples of
Generator.
who's done,
Are your gals more excited about the PTO system or?
I know at least one of them's had worked through a PTO system before, so I don't think, you know,
But I
it
think
just
those-
depends on how it all plays out, so.
Hope everybody's writing their questions down that they have concerning the different issues that may come up, and I'm merely doesn't give it phone effect us at all,
I
but I
agree.
just really like to hear the concerns and see if anybody's excited. It's my understanding that it's all for one and a one for all, and yeah, absolutely everybody.
It'd be hard to, yeah, if you don't have full buy-in,
Yeah.
and one department wants to do it, other one doesn't, that don't work.
No,
Well, I just heard from Sherry, you know, that she was concerned about how that she doesn't have the budget to buy out this vacation time and things like that.
right.
So they've been,
I think that's what we need to avoid doing is
Right.
buying out.
right. I think it'll be interesting. So 10:30, the meeting. In the, we're
At least see,
Down in the law enforcement center. Cause we're voting up here in the courthouse and all the typical meeting spaces, so.
This would be interesting to see too, I guess, if it could be a tool you could put in your toolbox to give them an option. I mean, if Sarah says, hey, I can't hire somebody unless I can offer PTO, could we grant someone an authority? I don't know.
It'd be good to get the department
I
head.
mean, I understand the
Is
consistency.
HR, Amy gonna be in there?
no,
No, we've got a public test that day.
The only reason I
She
said,
won't-
cause she'd
I
be
know,
able
I
to
hadn't
say that
invited her
I can
initially.
work this into my system and make it work or not.
do
Yeah, I
we,
think,
It would suck to have two systems.
I just say the more stuff, it creates more confusion. I think
Right.
That was
and
part of
we're
the
trying to
deal, was to
eliminate
simplify
confusion.
it.
do you all wanna come and we just have to post it and you guys could come all?
Yeah, more than the two could come. We just have to
Absolutely.
post an agenda that you're gonna be at
Thursday?
that.
Yeah.
Thursday, 10:30.
If you guys
10:30.
wanted to
This
come,
Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm
because
out of
Terry will
town.
already be there and, we just have to post it. That way you could hear and ask.
Why don't we post it, just in case, cause I wouldn't mind being.
You're there anyway, right?
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
just
I'm
assume
going.
you all be there so that we don't have to, you know, come back and give our version of the pros and cons, and you guys will hear it yourself, and give last questions as they come to you, and hear it right from the horse's mouth.
You'll have to update me, I'm out of town.
Okay, it's okay, you will. The more people that are there, the more questions, and the more transparency of what's going on with it, I think, so.
And it's only the first of probably many meetings that we'll have.
Right, you're not gonna decide it in
Uh-uh.
one day, this is more to me an exploratory,
Mhm.
fact-finding deal.
I am just
But
curious.
you've already reached out to some PTO systems that have worked, just.
Well, David mentioned Manning couple weeks ago when Colin took the lead on scheduling that. And so I emailed her and got a little information, but I'll ask her a couple more questions.
Excellent.
And Dawn's good, I mean, she's on top of
Well,
things
good
and,
thing to come.
and she wouldn't be in a system that didn't work well for her.
Good here.
That's all I got.
Okay, Mr. Dozar. How was Pheasant?
And because of that, I forgot to bring my notes that I had. West Central Community Action, we met last week. And, we had our annual board training, which we do on an annual basis prior to the meeting. And I guess the biggest thing is that, Wendy, the director, is starting to do her, Board of Supervisor annual meetings. And so she's either gonna be here in person or like via Zoom over the next 2 months. So I'm sure she will either contact me or yourself to be put on the agenda. At that point in time, she can give an update on West Central Community Action, I guess how it's performing for Crawford County. So that's really all I got.
Ready, sir. Mr. Schultz.
The login, everything I have was usually done by a Zoom or phone call, but my Zoom meeting with the Yes Center failed to connect because I tried to connect like 4 times and it said Cheryl McGregor is involved in another meeting presently. So either I got the wrong meeting invite or something.
That can happen.
So I finally just gave up. So I missed that. I was all geared up. I had iPad and the tractor connected to the radio, so I could have sound and everything.
Wow.
and then the wind just comes out of your sails like, ah. Had a boy in there doing IT stuff for me before we got started.
I was gonna say you're kind of a high-tech redneck, doing it in your tractor.
My phone was on, I had my phone connected to the iPad, which is connected to the radio of the tractor, so.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so instead of that, I just watched Netflix. What else are you gonna do when you're riding your grain cart? No. But, I missed out on that, unfortunately. They asked what week would work better, and I told them next week, but they chose not to have, they chose that without me, so, whatever. But, the biggest thing that I've been kind of dealing with, and I know you've been involved, like Ty's been involved, according to what I was told, was Michelle Sacco is kind of feuding with the race board and the fair board about.
Only seen it on
She
Facebook.
invited me on Facebook one day, I don't know that.
And, she called me and I said, that's not our fight.
Yeah,
Don't be bringing us involved in this. She said, well, you guys give them money. So you're involved in it. So I stopped and asked Colin this morning, that's what I said. And he said, well, it's not our fight.
I wouldn't think so. We give money to the fair board to put on a fair for the
Yeah.
kids.
That's what I told her. I said,
Families of the county that are
we're
involved in
required by
agriculture."
code to put on the fair
Right.
for the kids or whatever. I said, we have nothing to do with that. But
What entity does she represent?
she represents an entity that's
So that makes it.
requesting a different version of accessibility for handicap.
yeah.
So I don't know where it's gonna end up at, cause it's really, it has to do with the racetrack, so the racetrack people are involved in it. Cause they lease it from the fair boards, and so the fair board's involved in it, cause they lease it to the racetrack. And then we get thrown in it too, cause our name says Crawford County, just like the fair. So,
We did, follow that a little bit and it got quite intense and it is, I felt her pain a little bit, and
right, but and I'm not trying to be an expert.
No,
I said,
no, no,
at what point is accessibility to an event
and say,
have to start dictating to one? I mean, they're in compliance currently.
Yep.
With all,
safety's huge. Safety is
Boy,
huge.
especially at something like that, right?
so I don't know, I'm gonna stay out of it.
I
Yeah.
think that's the private.
I asked the attorney if we were needed to be involved, he says, no, unless we get court ordered to be involved or something, then.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to that. But
But even at that, you said it, we're required by state Iowa code to give a certain amount to fair board.
required.
And that's it. We don't, as you said, we don't appoint the fair board.
Don't approve their, nothing.
So I said, we have a liaison. And I said, it's currently you. And she goes, I talked to him. He didn't give me, pretty much, he didn't give me the answer I wanted to hear.
Wow.
So he must have reached out to you then, and you must not have gave her
Well,
the
she
answer.
did, she was hammering on me on Facebook
Oh.
and,
I won't get involved
I
in
mean,
Facebook.
I was trying to be
Nothing.
diplomatic since it was in public, I didn't wanna come right out and sound blunt that we don't have a cat in that fight.
So what's throwing fuel back on this fire? I kind of thought it is what it was. Like what I told them at the time.
Somehow
Hey, we're not-
I'm getting all the emails, and she's got public record requests in, and the fair board ain't required by law to open them request records. So,
Are they private?
so then,
I don't know, I guess I don't
I
really.
think their attorneys telling them this.
Okay.
They're not just acting on a
Well,
whim.
I wouldn't doubt they
So,
have advice, legal
so
advice.
then they were like, well, if you wanna see all these records, you have to join the fair board. So now she's gotta. So,
Careful what you wish.
yeah.
How would it be if they receive government money, they're required to keep minutes and have the same, isn't that the way that kind of goes a little bit or no?
Well, yeah, it's a can of worms that,
I really don't
no,
know.
I don't know.
I wouldn't wanna talk out of turn, cause I don't.
I don't wanna talk out of turn either, but there's a line that yes and no. Some organizations do have to provide them, some organizations don't have to
Well,
provide
it'd be the same thing as when we were going with the, fire association, the
Right.
units and.
But the one that,
They'd open them.
so you have a caterer that provides an event for the city, so they receive city funds.
Yeah,
Do they have to open their book? That's where that line, I don't know there's some gray area there, I'm guessing.
yeah, it's pretty great.
Well, they, with our voucher
I think it
system
came-
now, that said a private school does not have to provide any audit or any details on
Then you're getting
where the
state
public money
funding.
is coming from. It was brought up, let's say, just our neighbor over there, Carol Kemper, could take a family out to a steak supper and drinks because they want their kid to play football there. They don't have to account for any of those dollars spent.
Seen that happen?
So
Yeah.
at this point, I think Colin's recommendation would be just to stay out of that fight.
I'm with you there.
I'm a stalker on Facebook, so you never even know I'm there.
If I do, I can sense you. No, you're fine.
Other than that, I'm pretty much the gist of it. Other than the continued, when's the bridge gonna be open? I just keep saying a couple weeks. Christy, my wife, laughed at me the other day. She said, I've been hearing that for like 2 months.
The money
Well, a
pit,
couple weeks.
the money pit, you remember
Can
that
you
movie? 2
imagine
weeks.
what
2
that
weeks.
has cost that company?
It's cost them a boatload of money.
I can't.
I feel for them, but that's why we have to have contracts with these companies and,
I know,
And
it's
that's
just
how
how
a
we're
the
at their
company's
mercy.
insured.
terrible mistake.
yeah.
Terrible
So-
mistake, yeah. Well, if they had a, performance bond on that,
Are you done?
With what?
Combine.
Oh,
You are.
yeah, we had it last night, but
So you don't have no more Zoom meetings in the tractor then?
I hope if I could get it connected, it's pretty nice.
I bet.
We'll probably have parking machine shed and go out machine sheds.
I have to get it outside so you get reception.
Oh.
But
Life of a farmer.
what else was there? I don't think that's about all that's pertinent.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Ms. Hayden, do you have anything for
My
us?
turn. Nothing, my meetings, I was awful on my public health or my mental health and, DCAT and early childhood. So that's all happening tomorrow morning. So I'll have a better report on what's going on. We did get the budget things kind of ahead of time and, I'll just report on that next time. But I know you guys, we've all received the things on the pipeline, what's going on with that. And it's still a battle. It's still going on. And, I think the quote I like the best is Iowans are the only ones that can defend Iowa and the wonderful place it is to live. I think people are just so passionate about how close this is coming to people and what this is all gonna mean. And this water that it's gonna take is going to be a deal changer in this drought situation that we're in now. If we have a company coming into Iowa saying they're gonna use tons and tons of water and we don't have water to.
I wish they'd give us an actual, is the usage gonna go up by that, or is it gonna, means we're using it over here, we're not gonna be using it over there?
It's not the same. I kind of did talk to someone out at the ethanol, and it's
Yeah.
not even similar to the usage that they have this.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is the ethanol, they're still gonna need to use their water.
Right, yeah,
This is a byproduct, so this is going across the road and they're using water.
Yep. but it's gonna start way,
That was just something I was
at the
thinking.
border, and, that water's coming all the way through, so.
Yeah, but if they're using the water and they're offline because now this company over here is taking this and using the water to. So what's the net gonna,
I would think that with all the engineering and smart minds that would have to go into even designing and building this pipeline, that they would know down to a T what water usage they actually, how it would affect us.
somebody has that answer.
Do you guys remember when they came, and I think this was maybe just for the testing, but that they were going to bring it in tankers and use the same water over?
Yeah, that's for
Remember
hydrogen
that kind of
testing the
stuff?
line after
Yeah,
it's connected, so
So-
that wasn't the processing
Yeah.
part of it.
That was the processing, but they knew, that's still where's the water coming from.
What it is happening in North and South Dakota, there been any updates on their reapplication?
I haven't heard anything
process?
about them, but I heard the navigators pulled out. And
I heard that.
I heard that.
there's the stay on
So,
Thank you. I couldn't get a spit out. That's all I've heard.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything else.
Well, I know that there's so much frustration with the way that the utility board is handling things and, I had one of the folks that wanted to go and their husband wanted to do a Zoom and they cut Zoom meetings off now and he's disabled and so just really making it difficult.
The IUB's cut off soon, mean?
I guess, for testimonies.
Oh,
So, just it continues. I just think we need to just kind of stay aware that this is possibly coming. And I think as in Crawford County, since it's coming very close to citizens, we need to stay aware and we need to make some ordinances.
What's the date when IUB?
You know, I was,
They keep moving that date,
I
when they're
think
gonna give
they-
a ruling?
I don't think we have any concrete answer. I've not seen that. If there is, I'll try to find out, but it just keeps going on and, I don't know, it's got as many notifications as we get. People are still very, very, very aware of what's going on. So just wanted to keep that in the forefront. I went by the, public health and she's getting that all, she has to power wash it because it was just so dirty that the paint wasn't going to stick very good, but, I'm hoping to see some paint go up there yet this week, so I keep driving by to see what's going on. But I also, when is your next IT meeting with Jake?
We don't have one set up.
I think we need to keep pushing
Right.
along. on
Oh, I
that.
thought it was last week.
Okay,
I am not aware of when our next meeting is.
I am not either.
well,
So
I
Chris-
would like to have it on the agenda to discuss, what is going to be happening, how this, because that's part of the IT, that would be me swimming in a different lane if I started stepping in on that, but, you know, he's got these plans to move over there, move his office over there. You guys kind of need to tell the Board of Health what, if you approve of that, or what
Was moving his office over there.
That wasn't in concrete yet then.
well,
Let's talk to them.
well, we got to before I get somebody in there to kind of get these offices ready and how we're gonna configure that. I do believe that with what's been going on with the water, they're rerouting that pipe, getting that kind of all ready to go to still stay in that corner roof. But I just think that we should firm it up that you guys are okay with that, you know, how they're doing it, because when that in your wheelhouse. So I would actually not mind.
Because from what I remember, like, he had mentioned moving over there, but he never had to go ahead with us.
Mm-mm.
I think there was early on mentioned that
Yep.
it would be nice to move over there.
Right.
And then we were like, well, we kind of need it here.
Well, I think that needs to be a little bit more firmed up so that he isn't making the plans to get an office, you know, designed over there. And we set that aside for him.
Is
And
there
then find
room
out.
for him to have an office over there?
There could be, if that's the wishes of his board, you know, that was why.
I get that he wants to get out of his closet.
Yes,
Yeah, I get that too,
the
but
janitors could have it back.
the majority of his work is over here.
I agree. So that's why we need to maybe
Yeah,
make
that's
sure that we're all on the same page
Yeah.
before
But if
we.
you hold out, just a
Satellite.
thought, but if you hold out a little
Put
longer,
a tracker on it.
potentially all it removed and remodel the shop and moved out. There's your
I know that'd be
office.
the perfect spot for him.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul
Then you
would
have a
probably
place
take
for all
his,
shit. Sorry.
he would probably take his, Brenton.
Well, that would be maybe better back there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know.
Boy, he's got two big rooms back there. What to
I put
choose
one of them for election stuff too.
There you go.
Then you,
So then
then,
that'd give him one and you, I mean, he don't need more.
Remember when we
Them are
moved
big rooms.
conservation out, we thought we'd have all this room.
I know.
I think it'd be nice if your election area.
When you build a building, you never build it big enough.
Yeah, that back
Yep.
drafting room would
So
be
those are
great.
things, when you do have that meeting, I just assume that we knew for sure, but when we have our next Board of Health meeting, we know, cause I'm trying to work on, RFPs for that basement, and I kind of would like to know, and I gotta get plumbers, and that's a little bit more involved. And one thing that I wanna make sure that when we do it, that we have a specific date of when we want services, because now I'm kind of.
Because, sorry, getting that water turned on did not, move the pipe from over top of where the server room is. That has not happened yet.
I did have.
They just got it.
Kind of indicated
someone else need to-
that,
I've already looked at
that they've determined that pipe can be rerouted, maybe that is what it.
Right, I think it can be, it just couldn't happen
Okay,
in that time frame in order to get the water on for the painter.
we had a
To be
big
able to
leak,
power
I
wash.
understand, and that's kind of been fixed, so it's probably good we got that on and just kind of want to keep that all moving in the right direction.
Honestly, tell you where I'm at right now with that, I would say no.
Okay,
I know.
Just because, yeah, I get
That's
it,
what
you
I'm
just gotta
thinking.
get out of that, but if you hold off a little longer, knowing what we're gonna
Okay.
possibly do with Paul.
I would like that to be the,
I don't know, Craig, I don't wanna speak for
I
you,
don't think
but
you're-
that's just kind of my thought.
You only have
And I
so
don't
many
wanna hold up
square footage.
remodeling over there, because now all of a sudden we have to redesign or add an office or.
Right.
well, basically, I was thinking that, DHS could use that open space that used to be the reception area that we took the wall out. Cause what they really kind of wanted was a space to have families, and that area would work for them. And then we would have an office for, mental health, and then the other office right next to his office could be his, if that's the wishes of your board, you know,
Well, I guess somebody should draw, there's only so many square footage
Uh-huh.
out there. Some of it's server room, some of it's, you know, your HVAC room.
Yep.
So much as bathroom.
Yep.
We
Storage.
want break area, we want DHS, we want
mental health.
mental health. How much room's left? By the time you get that done?
A lot of those use them not every single day. They have appointments,
Right,
but they have to be available.
They gotta have a space available, so Jake can't, oh, let me move my stuff so you can have your meeting.
Exactly. So that one space would be a door, a lockable door that's his
what we're
and coming and
spending
going.
$700 a month or whatever rent. or
Right,
not.
right. So,
They may never use it.
but we
but-
get that money.
I know, we get it back,
It's
but
a
still.
pass-through, but we get to keep it now.
We can keep it if
Yeah.
it's over there.
So, and then Wick, you know, wants to do their, meetings rather than have to go from church to church and change it, that they have a set location and they pay.
That's that
too. So
Stockholm
there's
property.
revenue that's gonna be possible down there once we get it ready to go, so. Wanna get that.
that part of the
rolling,
farm?
So
No,
you guys would be so
That's
kind as to
the-
let me know your,
The,
Oh, up here.
yeah, the Isaac Walton property.
Yeah.
so let us know.
I don't know how it. I have no idea.
Is that all you have now?
I think so, until something else comes to my mind.
I thought you removed it.
No, that's
Getting
okay.
all that.
Hey,
Well,
say,
let's
Ty,
see tomorrow.
on,
Take it over.
just what Kyle had brought up before concerning the fair, and just doing, this is just quick looking. But, Iowa Code, chapter 22.1 defines what a government body is. It says a government body means this state or any county, city, township, school corporation, political subdivision, tax-supported district, nonprofit corporation, other than a fair conducting a fair event as provided in chapter 174. And, what is public records? Public records includes all records, documents, tape, or other information stored or preserved in any medium of or belonging to this state or any county, city, township, school corporation, political subdivision, nonprofit corporation, other than a fair, conducting a fair event as provided in chapter 174. And if you go to chapter 174, there's 174.3 that says, no city or county shall pass an ordinance or resolution impeding authority of the fair board, and the fair shall have the sole and exclusive control over and management of a fair event and fairgrounds.
That was pretty, that's as clear as one of
You
those
don't
things ever
think that
get.
Charlie Elwell,
Don't you think?
That's pretty.
Not
There's not even a
Lemoyne,
gray
there's a
there.
big say in how that is worded? Because all that the Elwell family does to the state fairgrounds. There you go.
Kind of sounds like you got the
There you
right, doesn't it?
Now, this is from my brother-in-law, who is the state building inspector. When Elwell and his group are putting all the trailer houses out there at the state fairground for their own personal use, he had to go inspect them. He found a whole list of things wrong with them, called his boss, and his boss says, why are you even there? Aren't you supposed to be someplace else? Turn around and leave.
Ouch.
So we have our own little emperor in the middle of Des Moines.
In the fairgrounds, there is a little Napoleon down there.
I love it.
Well, that's all been said by the vendors at the fairgrounds. So,
So with that, what you just read, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yep, so,
Sure does.
Nobody has any say over how the fair is run according to
great,
state.
that
law.
was excellent information, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You did that quick. You must have somebody that you know in government.
That was my own doing, Tom. But I do have that person.
Yeah, I got you.
All else fails.
Okay, well, I guess I get a chance to talk for a little bit today. I actually had two pretty good meetings yesterday. The one was my first, official IEB. That's the International, I can pull it up here. Hold on. Anyway, it's an international investment. And what they do is I got so many darn emails in the last couple of days. I registered for our legislative conference for NACO, which will be in February yesterday, so I got 10,000 emails for that. And, hiding amongst that is the emails that really mattered for the day. Anyway, the IEB one, what it is this summit they have, and it's in June, and I haven't registered for it yet, because it's out in DC as well.
Would you say IEB is?
Yeah, it's International Investment. Hold on, I'm trying to find it here. Hopefully I didn't move it. But it's a task force thing.
Okay.
Well, where the hell did that go? I didn't move it. IED. I said IEB, didn't I?
Yeah, I thought, what were you doing there?
IUB's not in my head anymore. Okay, and it's the IED task force, International Economic Development. And, what it is this summit that they have, and it's put on by the Department of Commerce. And the guy that got up there and spoke, he talked about what they do at the summit. And it's basically a conference, you know, and like when you go to the conference, you got all them booths and stuff set up. Well, the state of Iowa's, economic development will actually have a booth at this. And so there's a task force that goes, and I don't even know, I don't remember asking to be on this. I don't know how I got on this task force. I'm kind of honored to be on it because there's tons of money from outside countries investing want to start companies in America, and they're looking for places to do things. And what you do is, you know, like Iowa and Texas and everybody will have booths of this thing, and people from, I thought you said 80 some different countries, 86 different countries will actually be there at this event. And then it's about networking with them. They have seminars and different things, focus groups and different things like that for these people and for us. And, can't remember her name. One of the other county commissioners, she's from Tampa Bay. Very smart lady, but, I've got her on some other committees that I'm on, and anyway, she, brought up that they want to be able to talk to a local official, these outside investors. And so they're trying to make it so it's cheaper for us to go, which like, I can't sign up for it yet. I don't even know what cheaper is. I don't know what it costs to go to. But if it's people looking to come build in our area, you know, we've got a couple places that would be prime candidates for some kind of industry to come in. I do have an idea of what kind of industry we're looking for. We'd like to find something that's less people oriented, more technologically advanced, you know, where they got, you know, robotics or whatever the case is, you know, so we're not overloading the workforce that we currently don't have enough of. But by the same token, something that's progressive enough might actually draw more people to our area as well. So, I mean, there's just all these different things that we're talking about. And then there's people that just want to come in and invest if you got an industry that's looking to expand. You know, I mean, I don't know who these people are. I mean, I sure don't want any nefarious characters coming in and buying our area, but, I mean, it just looks like it might be very interesting task force. I got put on it through NACO, obviously. And it's their, International Development Task Force, but it's, works with this summit that they put on by the Department of Commerce. So anyway, as I learned, that was my first real meeting to listen to this guy talk, and he was just talking about the summit mostly. I mean, I didn't get any real didn't really talk about the types of people that are there.
Oh, meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of meat and potatoes yet, but this is probably gonna be a monthly meeting now, so. But it looked like it was, and they've been doing it for 10 years. NACO actually got involved in this, they've been doing it for 10 years, so.
And I listened to hear success stories.
Well,
You know?
and it sounds to me like,
What have they done?
the ones, if you want to talk about some of the success, the place in Ohio that has got the new, computer chip, that was actually linked up, it sounded like it was linked up through this summit, where to go. So, I mean, basically, everybody's out there advertising what we've got, you want, I mean, so you send your best salespeople out there and put them to work.
I would think an international company would know their needs, what they're searching for, and then link it up to the area that.
I think that, it's just like any kind of conference, you go there to learn more that you may not have realized you don't know. I mean, how many times do we go to something at ISAC that we go, oh, I didn't realize that. I think I've said that at every conference so far. So I think that's probably why they come to these things, but I think every company knows what they're looking for, just where is it? And is there a place that the tax base is more suitable for what I want as opposed to, I think that it's a good opportunity to market our smaller areas. And in particular Iowa, I suspect Iowa's probably been a big success for it at this, if we got a lot of contact. I mean, look at some of the stuff they brought in, in the past year, I know how much of it's overseas stuff, I don't know, but. It don't hurt to go, I'm thinking about checking it out if it isn't too damn expensive, and it's in DC again.
Oh, geez.
I just signed up for that one, oh my God.
Would they do it Zoom if you had to?
What's that?
Could you do that meeting Zoom if you had to order? I mean, if you couldn't make it, would it be on Zoom or?
It's a conference, so
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
what would,
Yeah, it wouldn't be a
some of the
Zoom.
individual seminars might be Zoomable, but
Just a thought.
it's about going out and networking,
Rubbing
And
shoulders.
here's the thing is, she wanted the NACO people to see if we couldn't get a little bit more organized with the NACO. Because there's only 100 people on this task force, which sounds like a lot if you're sitting in Denison. But when you consider we've got 50 states and how many counties in each state, 100 people is not a lot of people. So, I mean, to me, if they could work us in with delegations from every state, because it sounds like all 50 states got delegations. So, I mean,
I hope
they've
you
got,
can go.
huh?
I hope you can go.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I just, like I said, I'm just, with just the two conferences that I think are important conferences for NACO, I mean, that's pretty good expense right there on top of all by itself. So, I mean, but I'll just keep watching this. I just wanted to bring it up to you that this is one of them that I'm on. I don't want to not go, but I don't want to go if it's just ain't gonna gain us anything. Anyway, then I also had ag, which was geared more towards, actually, they had a speaker that was an farm economist. Hold on. I already used up my 10 minutes.
This guy.
There you go, it's amazing.
This guy is always on time.
No place to sit.
Yeah, I'll just, I got a lot of video, I got a lot of pictures and stuff, charts and stuff for what.
Oh, go on.
Been doing.
What is
Anyway.
it?
How'd you get that? Where'd you get that? The pictures and stuff?
This was actually on my NACO ag. On that.
Here. I what?
I'm on our ag steering committee.
On it, trust me.
It's pretty.
It is that time of year. There are a lot of fun things out there. So, not a whole lot new here this morning. This horizontal boring and tunneling, they're gonna be putting a new pipe underneath of the UP Railroad. just, to the west of Joe's out there. So, you know, it really shouldn't impact anything there because, you know, at the end, I mean, the design is done. They're really gonna put the pipe, they're gonna put the pipe. If I look at it.
Was there a culvert there?
Yeah,
There
there
was going
was,
exactly the same spot or?
you know, I don't know. I haven't been out there to take a look at it, but I doubt it because they're gonna bore a new one. And the old one's a concrete culvert, so I'm guessing they're probably gonna plug it somehow or fill it. I don't know.
This won't impede any of the drainage work that we went through a few years back.
It shouldn't, Kyle, because, you know, what we did was we got a pipe underneath our road. And then we opened the obstruction by getting the pipe under the Canadian National. So if water comes in,
Should go out.
you know, so if they set their invert higher, more water's gonna stay on the other side of Highway 30. If they set their invert lower, more water's gonna come through, but if they set it too low, well, then it'll be low arch invert, you know, so I hope somebody's engineered and looked at all that stuff. At the end of the day, if the water comes through there, it goes through Boyer Valley Road and it gets out. So it shouldn't have any impact on that area down there. Good time to do it though, because it's really dry.
Yeah.
You know, normally that area sits with water and, I mean, I know all you have seen it out there, the old borrow pits along Highway 30 are dry, you know, which I've never seen in all the years I've been around here. And I don't know, Craig, you've been here all your life. I don't think anybody's seen it. It's just a
Point to me.
pardon.
So it's kind of disappointing you point to me when you could have pointed to Gene.
Yeah. Sorry, sorry, the elder statesman over here.
Thanks for noticing that. I
That's right, you're actually younger than I am. I just know you made a remark
I
one
think he was
time.
implying that you lived out at it.
Yeah, I did, yeah. And you've lived here all your life, and yeah.
Children. I have a way with that.
Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness. I stepped in a bear trap and I didn't know it.
It's all right.
So,
Oh,
I
that's
can
funny.
take it.
yeah,
I love it.
the bridge on L51, you guys have probably been around, see them, they're getting the grading done. They took the old approach slabs out, and so we'll get in there and start cranking away on those.
I just keep telling everybody, 2 weeks.
That's a typical contractor line, because if you tell them anything longer than that, people get upset and say, why not? You know, yeah, and if you tell them anything shorter, that seems unreasonable. So 2 weeks is just that nice time frame, and nobody know, it'll never get done in 2 weeks.
My wife started laughing at me and she asked me,
Yeah.
somebody was on the phone, she heard me say 2 weeks and
Yeah,
she just started laughing. She said, you've been telling that people that for 2 months now. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, well, it could be 2 weeks.
She's the only one that knows
but they're
that.
making really good progress. It's looking good.
That's true.
We're gonna get it done.
Oh, that reminded me of that sign in the middle of bowling alley.
Yeah.
Been there for years.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Free beer
They
tomorrow.
got that.
Tomorrow. Oh, yeah, yeah. So anyhow, we'll, keep working on that. Vanilla shop, just waiting for the contractor to move back in. Apparently they had some deal with the steel that wasn't right, so they pulled back out. You know, I don't know. It's just
Where was that?
on our Manila shop.
Oh, the shop.
The reinforcing steel wasn't fabricated right. So they pulled back out. We had to get it redone.
Well, they use a laser screed to pour that.
And I don't know how they'll do it, you know?
That sucker, them are
Yeah.
the cats, you know.
Yeah, they are, you know, and flat work and concrete's come a long way, you know. See that in the Adams world, but it's, they'll probably do the footings and then they'll do the slab.
Yeah.
Next spring after the building's up sometime. I don't think they'll do that just right now.
No.
Yeah, at least that's the way they've done the other ones in the past, is they get all the building up, because they're messing around in there and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they come back when they're all done with the building. Get that in and out of their own plumbing.
Well, there's no way to splatter concrete on the new walls unless you pour it afterwards.
Well, we'll have concrete walls 4 foot high, so they can splatter it a little bit if they want to, but they do a nice job, so. But, you know, now we're getting the cold weather, and that can be dealt with, yeah. It's footings, foundations, they can cover it up, and so I'm not terribly concerned, but it'd be nice to get it done here in the next few weeks, 2 weeks, so.
Yeah.
Something like that.
2 weeks.
Great crew, they're gonna be about done with 300th Street, and then go over to those, actually about 2.25 miles there on that 300 to 330th on TM, and we'll start working on that. And that's where we'll finish up at. When we get into that time, we got about 4 weeks left probably. You know, we get to Thanksgiving, pretty much closes things down and so, well, it kind of that same issue with they're putting all this fiber and they got a lot of that to do, but I was talking to the guys, I said, you know, if it gets to the point where the ground gets frozen, we gotta stop them because they'll make a mess of things. And it's been okay. I mean, there's been a few areas, but we continue to kind of monitor that a little bit. When people want fiber, they want high-speed internet. That's what this is all about. So we try to work with them and get that. But a few little issues here and there, but working through that. Bridge crew, they're just kind of been doing some miscellaneous kind of cleanup stuff, and they're gonna move in probably today or tomorrow at our Avenue Bridge. That'll be a nice place to finish the season down there. They'll get it done sometime this winter. But nice project to kind of finish the season out. Roadside crew, we're pretty much wrapping things up there as far as both mowing and the seeding. Get close to getting the mowing down too.
Get in there now and sow some seed on that bridge, or is it? would that be stepping on
It's supposed to have been done yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of a little disappointed why that didn't get done.
It'd be nice to get it done this morning, rather than before a week of rain,
I know,
if we get a week of rain.
yeah. You get, stop down and talk to you sometime. I
Well,
don't know why I didn't get that.
well, there's always glitches in the system, I guess.
There are, best laid plans sometimes get foiled for whatever reason, but then you just keep moving on. So,
I will say I would, if one of your mower traction, I was going shutting bin fans off this morning. I saw that flashing lights going ready. Well, it was our mower guy.
oh yeah.
Chop, chop.
He's pretty good.
6:45.
Yeah.
He was probably ready to be out
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm, after he's baked rolls and brought him to one of the shops. He's, the guy's up at 4 o'clock baking and
You know,
so,
well, I mean, you could have 20 guys like him, it'd be,
he's pretty
hey,
good.
you'd have diabetes, cause all the sweets in there.
No, you can't eat all that stuff.
Let me get to bed to get up.
Yeah, I just don't eat anything he sleeps much, I don't know.
Some people like 4 hours sleep is all they need.
That's right. Yeah. Drinks away. The open truck driver positions, got the ads posted for those, getting some applications. So, yeah, we got some good ones. Don't have a lot, but we got some good ones. I think it'll be good to hear.
Quality, better than quantity.
Most people that apply for those, do they currently have their CDL that you get?
Most of the time they do, you know, but, you know, we've got one that we're training right now for CDL, but otherwise, most of them have it. So, and we have the capability now to do that. If somebody comes along, they're really good.
Right.
But you got some experienced truck drivers and some people that, you know, got some good experience, so real pleased with it. So, Silver Queen, Wind Farm, that's the one over by West Side area. I've been working with those gentlemen for about a month and a half now on a road use and maintenance agreement. I ran it by Colin. You know, basically kind of the nuts and bolts. I'm gonna put it on next week's agenda for approval because you'll have to sign it and they want board signature on it. And if somebody wants a copy of it, I can email you a copy and you can take a look through it. I'll probably just do that to the whole board and you can look through it. Again, I looked it over, Colin's looked it over. Really some key elements there is that, you know, when we had one here, when they did the repower over there by West Side, north of West Side, it was Royce had retired and we just had him come in. We had a spare motor grader over there and a single axle dump truck and he would just take care of things. And it wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe, I think we were in the $10,000 to $15,000 that cost them. But I think the key points are, is we don't want them on our roads, maintaining our roads. That's our responsibility. So we'll do that. And, you know, if it gets really bad, they want to kind of cap it at a certain dollar amount. And I wouldn't agree to that because I said, if you guys come in March and you are, you know, tearing everything's up, you know, I said, this is to encourage you not to do that. Okay. Cause this won't be a capped amount. You could, 1 mile, you could destroy a mile of road that cost $20,000. Now, if you do it in the stewardship manner, that helps you and us, so,
How did they talk about when they wanted to start construction? I don't think they
I-
signed up
think they're,
leases yet, have they?
they're kind of looking at 2020. I think they're looking at 2025, spring of 2025.
Energy. It did all the science.
Were they pretty?
Okay.
This is the Silver Queen.
Very good,
That makes
very,
sense.
very.
It's all done, isn't it? Council, that's what, remember when I first got on, that was our Scout Energy guy.
Yeah, so Scouts,
All
yes,
the leases been done.
Scouts, the manager of the, they're kind of the management company, that's who I've been dealing with for the project. And then they'll work to get a contractor to build it, and so, very good to work with. Very professional.
They were even good to negotiate with
Yeah.
through our
Yeah, so,
frustrations, I guess you could call it. Or,
yeah, so
so we had to look with it.
So as near as I know right now, spring of 2025, the 2025 construction season, maybe going into 2026. He's got what I mean. So,
Yeah, I
So
think
this
that's a
agreement-
good deal. I mean, when the Schleswig, when that one, he kinda,
we
that
really,
was the repower.
we've
deal.
never really had a formal agreement
That
with
was,
anyone.
that was the repower one I was thinking of too.
Yeah. We've generally done kind of a letter, here's our, it outlines, here's our key things that we want you to be responsible for, and they've done everything. Everything we've ever asked, honestly, that, other than one little hiccup on the initial construction of the ones north of west side, where somebody drove a off-road crane up and down the road and did a lot of damage. Other than that, we've never had any issues, and they paid for that too. And that was a lot of money.
Do you know how it wasn't an agreement?
Well, yeah, we didn't have an agreement, but there's a duty not to destroy the road, and be a steward of the roads, and so they paid for it. Yeah, it's damaged public property essentially, and that never should have been on the road,
Yeah.
so. But anyhow, so I'll be bringing that back. I'll email everybody a copy, and I'll be bringing it back next Tuesday for approval and get that to them. They're kind of wanting to get this done. And I don't see any reason to stand in the way of it. I mean, the project's moving forward, and this is one of the elements they want to kind of get done, and then they're gonna work with Carroll County. I'm
I
comfortable
think
with
it's dealing between them and the private citizen has been done.
Yep.
As far as I know, so we shouldn't be standing in the way of the project.
That was a process to get that done, so it's.
Yeah.
So as long as they're agreeable to the terms that he was in and here laid out, we can accept that.
Yeah, and again, I had Colin review the whole thing, so he's okay with it, but I don't see any issue with it.
You know what Carroll County engineers is doing?
I think he's pretty much gonna take ours and use it.
Okay.
I've been talking back and forth with him. He said, when you get done, give me a copy of it. And that's okay, we want to be consistent. I think they wanted.
Right, that's what I was getting at,
So
was
I don't know,
consistency.
it says right in there, we're gonna try to have a part-time, somebody, I'm hoping that I can find like a mortgage flower or something, at that point in time that would just say, hey, you know what, I'll just give me a pickup, a dump truck and a motor grader and I'll take care of it.
There we go.
And it worked out super good that time. He just kept track of everything he did. And if it got really crazy, we'd give him, start to communicate, once every couple of weeks, we'll let them know where we're at, so that there's no surprises.
If you gotta bring in White Rock, it'd be, having to pay for bringing it down from Fort Dodge would be better than us having to pay for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've gotten into the weeds like that. I mean, normally we would just, if we hauled it out, we would bill them whatever our rate is. I mean, I don't know. If you want me to do something different than that, let me know, but I don't think we're not out to make money, just out to kind
We're
of.
just not to lose it.
We're not out to lose any and capture our costs. And so we adjust those raises, even though it's maybe sitting in our stockpile, if the price goes up, the material coming out of the stockpile is being paid for, reimbursed at current market prices. We've had some pretty wild changes.
Right.
And so we don't, we sell, and it only goes to communities. That's the only place. We don't sell it privately. Nothing gets sold here privately unless it goes to the sale market. So that'll be on there.
All right.
Other than that, don't have a whole lot of new stuff to report.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank
Oh, good work.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
See, sorry.
There you go.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I say
See you
soon. Soon. You'll do that soon.
I haven't told one that, well, they don't get the approaches, we're just put some slow signs up to be open for the winter.
That's a great idea. All right,
Middle of maintenance bridge.
I guess we could move right on since we don't have times anymore.
Yeah.
Discuss, take action, collective bargaining agreement. Where's that?
That was in the packet.
Packet. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So you guys
I
are
told
going-
Colin that probably didn't need to come over. I mean, it's pretty simple and straightforward. We were right to the point when we negotiated. We did $1.20 a year for each, you know.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. And then there's the $250, and we called it a clothing allowance because obviously you don't go through new boots every year. Some guys may, I don't
We used to
know.
joke with some of them guys, you know, you're truck drivers and leg operators ain't down in the mud and muck every day. You guys gotta have a whole closet full of boots going in.
I think that's a good idea.
So we,
So too.
so we switched that over, you know, to, but then they still have to maintain records of, purchase. In case
Upon
Paul-
request.
Yeah, so I paid in case upon request,
Okay.
because we, you know, all of a sudden somebody shows up with silk coats or something.
Or no gear at all.
Or no gear, or don't have thing, what are you spending your money on? Yeah, exactly. Okay, and, that was pretty much the meat and potatoes of it, when you say.
I would say it was one of the best negotiating meetings I've ever been in. It was just to the point. Didn't have lawyers involved. It was sit down and what can we both work out and be agreeable to. Nobody walked away upset. We both gave probably a little more than we wanted, or they gave got a little less than they wanted, you know.
Mhm.
So when negotiations work, that both sides are happy. I mean, that's rare.
Right.
Both sides are.
Yeah, I'd say we were above the content line on both sides, you know, I mean, we were, you know, one of the things that we took into consideration is that they worked all the way through COVID, never made one complaint about anything. At least I never heard anything, and nobody else could come to mind that it, I mean, he'd been here. I mean, everybody just did their job, you know, and,
I was really happy with the dollar amount.
yeah.
It brings up the bottom guys, just like what we talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's just it, is it, because we've been doing percentages so consistently, you know, the gap was always widening between the newest or the lowest earner and the higher earners. And this kind of helps even that out. It doesn't. Percentages, obviously, it looks like that lower guy got more percentage, you know, and then the upper guy got less, but they both got good raises. So, I mean, when, by the time they sat down and talked it through that, I'm sure everybody was thrilled. I remember that's something that Kyle was actually talking about on the first negotiating thing that I sat down with him on when I first got on the board. We need to try to get to more dollar stuff because it's, you know, a better degree of equity there.
So is that our idea in the negotiation? Was hourly versus the percent? Or was
Yeah.
that
They came in with
Universal.
a percentage
Yeah,
to start with, and we, through negotiating, we switched to an hourly rate
yeah.
or dollar amount.
I think they've seen where the benefit was. I mean, because even when the other half of the secondary roads come in to talk about theirs, they kept bringing up that the bottom guys were living paycheck to paycheck. I said, well, this is a way we can help rectify that, you know? So, I mean, that made sense to their team, so. So it all ended up pretty good in the
And
end.
living paycheck to paycheck is self-inflicted on some of that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you got new boats and campers, that might be your fault that you're
When I
looking.
first started, I started at $3.25. I thought if I can make $5 an hour someday, there's gonna be my pearl, you know?
Yeah.
But through family and having toys and stuff,
Toys.
$5 an hour don't cut it anymore. I mean, it's $5.25.
Toys.
But $3.25 was fine when I started.
Yeah.
If you wanna come back and work for the county for $5.25, we'd be happy to pay you.
You wouldn't, I'll consider that.
I'll take rid of some of your
dream wage.
toys.
You're going to wish for, eh?
It might be $5.25 an hour if you break out what you put in for that now.
You know, I make a motion to approve that, collective bargaining agreement.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Schultz and seconded by Ms. Hayden. to accept on behalf of the county, the collective bargaining agreement. Paul took off. He's got to help sign it here. He's got a spot for a signature, county engineer. Okay, anyway, it's collective bargaining agreement, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. Got all that? I probably already do, huh?
Mhm.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Dave, you and I got to scribble on the back.
You just gotta run that down. Oh,
Yeah, you do that. Yeah. Blue, yeah, I always do blue. Keeps me out of trouble. Okay,
Did you see it?
Yeah,
next,
pretty close to what we had last year.
next up is, discuss take action,
Tried to get another one.
snow removal bid.
Got it.
I've seen that in the packet.
Yeah,
So
it
did
was
we only
like-
receive one bid? And is that pretty
Right.
typical?
Well, Phil did it, or Chad did it last time for us when we had a intermittent time when one of our custodians was off. And that's what this is for. I did talk with Gil's Hardscape. He was mowing my neighbor's lawn and asked him for a proposal also, but we just haven't gotten it.
So what happens is that our custodians normally do the snow removal, no matter the
Right,
size of the snowfall,
two
whatever.
custodians
The
do
two
it.
custodians do it, and if one of them is gone and we have to fall back on one of these.
Yes.
Then we use
Yes.
them,
And
otherwise.
like during,
we don't
if we get a daytime snow, Dave will usually cover that. Unless it's excessive, and unless it gets up into the multiple inches. Dave can usually take care of most of it, like during the day stuff, but
He's kind of
Again.
the reason why we're spurring this, though, because he's.
that's later.
Oh, that's later.
First, the other one will be gone and then the other one will be gone. Hopefully
Like, how
spring
much
will
money
happen
did we
by
spend
then.
in snow removal for an outside?
I think, I
source?
looked and I think we only ended up
Very
doing it
minimal.
once.
Very minimal.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
And the weather forecast that I've been hearing is like below normal precipitation, so we should hire.
Just have
more.
Yeah.
cold frozen pipes.
so yeah, and he, so
Gotcha.
he
I
included
understand.
salting the parking lots, the two that we have here, I believe.
But normally our custodians do the salting, snow
Yep.
removal.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and that includes city center, the annex. And the courthouse, or our whole block, we do the whole block,
Right.
LEC and everything, so.
Yeah, I think that's pretty similar to what it was last time, so I'd make a motion to accept Phil's Lawn and Landscaping Nursery snow removal bid
Second?
to be used accordingly.
Motion was made by Mr. Schultz, seconded by Mr. Dozart to accept the snow removal bid from Phil's Landscaping,
Lawn
Lawn.
landscaping and nursery,
Lawn
yeah.
Landscaping and Nursery. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, Crawford County Happy Cat update.
What is the cat? They always seem.
They're all happy.
They're
What do you
always
mean, what
happy.
is a happy cat?
They always seem. They always,
happy.
Yeah, I bet they
Oh,
are.
yeah, I bet they
they
are.
always seem.
Hi, I want to thank you all for letting me come and speak with you this morning, having a little time. And I would like to read our mission statement for you. CC Happy Cats, Inc. is a 501c3 organization dedicated to improving the lives and health of community cats and kittens in Crawford County, Iowa, through community outreach, humane education, spay-neuter programs, and adoption. And we wanted to approach you as Board of Supervisors, just to let you know that we are in the area. We are working throughout Crawford County and some of the things that we're doing and hoping to facilitate. We purchased the former Crawford County Veterinary Clinic on 7th Street and renovated that. So we have a shelter facility and we have a shelter license. And of course, as soon as you say, oh, we've got a shelter for cats, you are overwhelmed with cats of all types and stages and ages. So we found that this was probably not our best focus to take in cats, even though that was part of the reason we organized the group. Because we know that there's times when families have to relinquish their cats, and as cat fanciers, we wanted to provide care for them. But we also do trap, neuter, return programs in the county, and this is our primary focus right now. And that stands for catching the cat, getting it fixed and vaccinated and dewormed, so on and so forth, and you release it to the same area. The reason this is a recommended procedure to address cat overpopulation is because if you simply take cats out of the environment, more will come in. And cats follow humans. The domestic cat is brought in by humans, and I think there will never be a time when there's not cats with humans. So this is the humane way of helping to keep the overpopulation. And when they overpopulate, they have illnesses and
They get into things.
yes, they make a mess. But I've been approached by people and they find these kittens on the street and they're sick. Their eyes are matted and their nose is running and
Just
they look terrible. Well, not necessarily, but the kitten, sometimes it's just poor conditions, like, fleas and so on and so forth.
It's
So-
like any mammal until you get your immune system.
And,
Yeah.
and if they're not, and some people out of compassion decide to feed cats outdoors and that's fine, but if they don't take the next step and prevent the overpopulation, you just continue. It makes it worse,
Dog that's
actually.
Unfortunately, very good at keeping the population in check.
What is that?
I got a dog that's very good at keeping the population
okay.
in check, unfortunately.
At your place, maybe, but,
Yes. Yeah, at my house.
as long as the dog lives.
He's been hit by a car 4 times and haven't thrown him down yet. So he's got a lot of life left. in him.
Anyway,
Smart cat then.
another concern right now that has been brought to my attention is in Omaha, they found a cat with rabies. And it's a strain that
Oh, I heard about that.
is
Yeah, very
connected with
rare strain.
raccoons.
I did not
And
know.
it's very uncommon in this part of the country. They thought it was. It's more common in the east.
Mhm.
But if it comes here, and we have an overpopulation of raccoons. And which gets into the raccoon population, it will get into these cat populations as well.
My dog's an equal opportunity employee. He likes raccoons just as well, so he's not just picking on cats. so.
Marcia, do you cover,
Hopefully he's vaccinated also.
Yeah.
do you typically cover the Denison area or do you reach out to the other communities?
No, we've gone into Vail, Manila, Dallas City, Schleswig, Kyron, and Deloitte. I don't think we've gotten into Charter Oak yet.
So do you usually get there by request? Do these communities request you to come in and, hey, we have a feral cat?
Not so much
Issue,
the
or-
communities, but I think every community does have a feral cat issue. But we are networking just with individuals for the most part. On the other hand, that's part of the reason I'm here, because I'm letting you all know. So if someone approaches you, yes, we're here, and our only limits really are our funds and our staffing personnel. We're strictly volunteers. So there's limits on what we can get done. And we'll have 12 quality live traps that we use. And I like them better than like the Little Giant or the Have a Heart because they're specifically designed for feral cats or stray cats. And but we can do a real good job. But we have done so far we do low-cost spay neuter clinics also, once a month. They're limited more or less to 15 cats. And right now, Dr. Taryn Clausen is doing our veterinary work at those clinics. And we've done approximately 160 throughout the year of 2023.
Wow.
And we've done approximately 95 trap neuter returns. So we're well over the 200 cats. And they say that's preventing the births of maybe thousands of kittens.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Dawn.
Do, like, if you get a cat in Schleswig, let's say, does somebody notify you then that a cat is in that cage, or are you just constantly kind of driving around, or how?
We have to check it.
You have to check it.
That's part of the process.
Okay, so then you bring that back to Dennison to your tilding, and then the doctor comes in once a,
Yes, if it would be in Schleswig, for example, since Taryn is up there now,
Okay.
we could take it directly to her.
okay.
And generally, we meet with Lincoln Highway, I generally call them ahead of time and try to see if, have you got appointment time in here? And then I talk to the, the inquiring party and see when I can come out and, I'm working with it.
So do they do that, then your organization pays that for that, or if they sometimes help volunteer their services to help with this problem?
We get a discount, big discount.
Big discount, okay.
Yeah,
which is-
and we pay it. We always ask for donations, of course,
Sure.
but they do it for $80. And the trap neuter return, we pay 100% of that. And this low cost spay neuter, we split 50-50 with the, that would be normally pet cats. You know, somebody's got a household cat and they need to get it fixed and they just don't feel like they can spend $200 to $300.
Sure.
So they make a reservation with our monthly clinic and we pay 40 and they pay 40. And
Thank you. You have to ask us a question.
Yeah. Sure, well, I was getting at the idea that we have brought in through donations and our fundraisers and, we redeem cans that people donate, recyclable cans and plastic bottles that people donate to us. And so we've gone through, at least $20,000 in 2023. It's
I
a
know
big.
my cans down there. I know. I know
We
it's where
we do
KR had built
appreciate it,
that.
yes, and it's not that big of a problem, recycling the cans.
And maybe Marcia, I guess I could add that you guys are a 501c3 organization.
Uh-huh,
So I've had some clients that have donated.
Yes,
the tax
yes.
deduction
uh-huh,
to Habitats.
Yes, we've
So
received some
I think
very
that
nice
needs to be out there also, that
Uh.
it is a tax deductible donation.
right, yeah, that's something to point out. Let's see, okay, I got the overpopulation. Yep, that's pretty much, we have some resident cats in the building now, and, we have a Facebook page, we're thinking about getting a website. We'll probably, I think that'd probably be better than just Facebook, and that's how we put out the word for adoptions. Hopefully we'll build up a little bit better adoption process, because we're not getting a lot of inquiries. At the city pound in Dennison, if cats are brought there, which she tries to avoid taking cats in, but if they are brought there, she will give them out to anybody that asks, or there's no work done on them, they're just, given out.
How many cats do you have at one time?
Right now, we only have 7. At one time, we were maybe about 15. So, and we work with farmers too, if they can, if they have a place where they think they can confine a cat long enough and treat it well enough so it'll stay on their farm, we can provide them with barn cats as well.
I like barn cat. So is my dog. I guess-
Who rules the place?
Bob the dog.
I
Now he
didn't
has
see
a
him
name,
yet.
Bob.
Bob, Melvin and Marley.
Oh my gosh.
Pass these out there. And then basically, I think I've hit the high points and that's when I take a few. Yeah, yeah.
Marcia, just bouncing off of what Jean had said, is that you don't have people that are trapping these cats themselves with their own traps and then bring them to you, or
No, normal.
they contact you, and then you and your volunteers go out with the traps, check the traps, bring back the cats that they would trap, get them fixed, and then take them back to the
Mhm.
location.
That's the preferred
Right.
method. Some people are okay with doing some trapping, but like I said, I prefer these other traps. They're, powder coated. They're black
Oh.
and powder coated and they've got a back door as well as the trap part.
Oh.
So you can let them,
When did you start doing this?
Um, I suppose about a year ago now. And like I said, it's a slow growing process, but I think another thing that I think it's important, it's an organization, it's important to quality of life. It says something about the people of Crawford County. And, you know, you hear a lot of jokes about cats and, you know, and I grew up in Crawford County on a farm, and I know the stories. And, but I think it behooves us to take care of the entirety of our county, and this is just one thing I can do, so.
Oh,
I appreciate
There's a
it very,
place for-
very
Thank
much.
you.
It's,
for feral cat. Keep
Yeah,
growing
well, they're
populations
rodent,
down.
they control rodents
Yep.
and make a big difference, so.
No,
Anyway,
cats, we would be overrun.
got
with-
one?
Thank you.
okay, anything
Thank
else?
you.
Thank you for what you're
No,
doing.
Thank you.
I will
Yep,
keep
thanks,
it hands
Marcia.
on.
I feel like you should be like Bob Marker at the end of the Price is Right, no, have her pet spayed and neutered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
Very interesting.
Bring more.
Tower fund. All right, next up on the agenda is, the tower funding discussion.
Our funding.
I see. Yes.
Come on down.
Howdy, Mr. Miller.
Favorite subject, funding.
Yeah. Kyle's got the one I had, and I had a question as to how come the Dow City tower is.
Yeah, that is
generating
exactly double.
Double.
Double,
I
exactly.
seen that last
He
night.
said he was gonna look into it, and that was last night, so we'll see what.
I think hopefully it's just a typo.
I hope that's what I asked.
Here, there's your back.
Thank you.
Or that is you're trying to pull it fast, man.
Well, I'll give you my shot. There's just so much stuff that I just find that, yeah, it seems like we're just about done, and all of a sudden they come up with something else. Then they come up with something, and then they come up with something else.
Yeah,
I find it disappointing that we're gonna get charged $16,412 for delivery and installation of the generators we purchased.
Well, is that, or is that the generators themselves? That was my question to him too. I said, is this the generator, or is this installation?
I thought the generators were like 35,000. Did we get them cheaper then, or what?
Well, were they? I don't know.
I don't know.
Huh.
I guess I wanna get that
Because we
clarified.
priced them here locally and they were cheaper.
Way cheaper. It's like 60,000 less, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or something. But anyway, if that is over and above, I will come unglued on that, because that's just pure and simple, hate to say rating that is.
Robert.
And I think that we have somebody down that can do that we hired for the county. We have maintenance people that work on Cummings diesels. So I don't see any reason why we can't
We'll
have
still
them.
probably have to have a maintenance contract.
Right,
all set up.
Right, and then we can do that through the people that do this one and jail and PD and we'll be doing the city hall as soon as that one's installed. And they can just, hopefully we'll get some kind of a discount. I certainly hope that's not $16,642.50 to hook it up. I don't, what I kind of got out of him on one of the emails was that we have not paid for the generator yet. And I don't know if Terry can look and see and make sure that we have not paid.
I tried to
That
look
last
this morning and I
email.
don't see
It's hard to
anything.
figure
I
out.
don't see
Yeah,
anything.
okay, so that might be.
I do not.
That because
But-
they didn't, it's not hooked up or finished. They can't charge for it.
that's what it said in that last email.
So would that have been billed through RFCC, through his,
It might have been.
or is it cell site?
Well, I thought we ordered
Maybe
it
it's
through, I thought
Southside.
we ordered everything through Southside.
Yeah, I
Because it
didn't
was
see, I
on
did
that
not see
bid.
anything.
So that was what I assumed that was part of the bill, was the
So,
generator.
yeah,
So you would assume me, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I just wanted,
but I'm hoping, I agree.
after the Raycom, you
I
know,
mean, we have no
quote was
change orders.
approved last year.
Exactly.
I just, or not last
Why
year,
are we
last
getting
week,
these
I
other
just
bills?
wanted
I
y'all
know.
to see how all the money's coming together.
Yeah.
Let's kind of go over it.
Yeah, so I just created a spreadsheet. Chuck had helped me with it. He had created one initially, I think, when the project was starting. So you can see the three funds that are currently affected, I guess, by the tower purchases, the whole program. Predominantly EMA funds, of course. But ARPA, initially, there were funds delegated to go, towards this project. Anyway, you can see what's been spent out of ARPA funds already. What's been spent on the towers out of ARPA, 121,000. EMA fund, and this is this fiscal year is what this is referencing, current fiscal year. The 344,000 out of the EMA funds, that includes that first payment to Raycom, the 243,000 or whatever it was. Just paid it.
Oh.
Just paid it. So that includes that first payment to them. Greg has budgeted, an additional, he had what, 1.1 million almost?
Almost 1.2, yeah.
Yeah, so that 741,000 is budgeted. Those are budgeted funds, unspent funds.
Unspent budgeted.
Yes.
Not in my account, but
Right.
Right,
We got it.
budgeted, your state
It's
budget.
budgeted, yeah.
Your state
Correct,
budget,
correct, correct.
yes, your state budget. So that 795, that's what's available in ARPA. And wondering if the board wants to go ahead and have that transferred to EMA. So the remainder of the bills can be paid through EMA, I guess, for consistency,
Yeah.
for ease of
Tracking.
tracking, for all those kinds of things.
Both.
And then I know, so that tower fund, you can see, that where it started, July 1, the, projected revenue, which is budgeted revenue. Let's see, that 57,000 is estimated expenditures. In that fund, we've never spent the entire amount of budgeted on the tower fund. Dwayne has kind of been diligent on being in charge of that. I don't think we've gone over 10,000, at least this last fiscal year that I looked at, it was under $10,000. So you can see that that fund balance is liable to be more than what it shows on here. Cause I just included everything that's budgeted for
To
expenditure.
be clear, the
In
tower.
the tower fund,
is
it's
for
this tower.
Here only.
Yes, currently it's this tower only. And so with that fund balance, there is approximately 200,000. It could be a little less if you wanted it to be. That could be transferred into EMA for this tower project.
Question, did you put
Yes.
the money that so far that they're still paying the county fire association?
Oh.
I put, so that's
Is it
in
where
your
did that go?
revenue.
Okay.
That,
Thank you. I
yeah,
wasn't sure where it went.
yeah, no, I just put, I
I didn't know
put,
if it went in the tower fund or where.
no, it's in EMA.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank
that's
you.
$6,080.
That's National Weather Service.
Right.
Still paying
Yeah,
the
yes,
wires.
sir,
Right.
yeah.
Where is that at?
That's in, under the EMA fund. You'll see it says $506,080 in the estimated revenue. Up towards the top. That $6,080 is
Okay.
the NOAA, is the
And they'll pay
weather
you-
station
Yeah,
If it works
revenue.
with you guys, they'll pay you every quarter
Okay.
until we get this figured out.
Right, until we can get our name, the county's name on it or whatever.
And it is, that's the
Yeah,
good part.
yeah,
I just
it's
don't
strange.
understand what's going on.
But-
I've gone through
So-
the county attorney, still can't.
Terry, I just had a quick question. Under the EMA funds,
Yes,
is that if I read that correctly, is that our funds available is that 711? And then our expenditures are 95, the 344 and the 741.
so 741 is budgeted to be expended, but not expended.
So what you should, to get to that 524 figure, if you take 711
Oh,
plus
I see what you,
795.
yes,
Minus those 741,
would be over
344,
1.2 million.
I
So
mean-
that 795 is, yeah, you're right, I probably did that wrong. I should have not subtracted the $741,000. But if it is expended, that's what's gonna bring us to that budget or that fund balance.
And when I do
I
that
see what you're
figures,
saying.
when I do those figures, I get 324,599.67, not 524.
So, the 524 includes the 200 from Tower Fund. The 200 being
Oh, right.
transferred. That's what the 524. It includes both of those.
200,000 from tower funds going to EMA.
Yes.
Gotcha, okay.
Yep, it
Then that
includes
comes up
both of those.
524.
Yes,
Gotcha,
yep,
okay.
that's where it
Right.
came from.
Okay,
But you're right. So. And so the 741 comes from a difference of what Greg budgeted for tower expenditures in his state budget and what's currently been spent of that 344.
Okay.
So does that make sense? So of what's budgeted, there's $741,000 left in the EMA budget. If we transfer, well, no, that's not an if. There's no if.
When we.
741, there's 741 budgeted,
Almost 742.
yes.
So we've got
But we do need to move some of those funds over
some
to
already over.
allow for the spending.
Right.
I think the 243 did not take you over yet.
Oh, it hasn't. Okay.
No, it hasn't.
I know it's gonna be close.
It was gonna be close, you're right.
It's gonna be clean and consistent. We transfer them funds
Yeah,
within the next
it'll all be
12
there.
months. We're gonna be burning through money.
Yeah, that's just it. And if he needs to spend it, he just has to do a budget amendment to spend that extra $500,000.
If I go.
That'll be
if I
in
go
your
over
fund,
my budget
what's
that I've sent
budgeted
in,
currently.
correct.
Yes. Yeah, and the spending authority's in the county budget already.
Well, that's why I was kind of.
Cause you had
wondering-
budgeted 1.4 in the county budget
Right.
and it should be,
What I was
plenty, hopefully.
wondering if you guys would spend some out of the LMR, no, out of the ARPA
ARPA?
funds, then I could stay within my budget. Correct?
oh, so you would like some of that to stay in ARPA
Well,
then?
that's what I'm wondering.
Well,
What do you think?
and that's,
Would that make it, I mean,
no, I get
The
that
only thing with-
completely.
It defeats the
The
purpose.
tracking of
It'd
it.
just be.
okay, I just wondered.
Right, I mean, we do have some tower money spent out of ARPA, currently 121,000,
Okay.
but I
think
know, I
the
see
budget
what you're
would be the end
saying.
of the world for us
No,
to
well,
keep it
it's not.
rolling
you-
through
I see
EMA.
what you're
Yeah, it's
saying.
not
I
you
think
guys,
you do
it's
it
me.
through-
I mean, I have to have all my people there.
No, I got it.
And,
Okay.
sometimes it's kind of a
Yeah.
hassle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's why I asked Mike, it's like, okay,
Well,
what's
I-
left in
Yes,
civils,
plus we're gonna have
you
a
know, and
wholesale change of mayors.
we don't know how fast Raycom's gonna function either, so.
The way Tim thought it was gonna be, there's gonna be some in the next fiscal.
Next
so
fiscal
that
year.
Hopefully,
That'll help a
That will
lot
help,
too,
yeah.
that will help a lot
that's what I was
too.
thinking too, that would help.
So, yeah,
ARPA has to be paid for by
26.
420, so, okay.
Well.
We have to have it
Right?
designated. by
general.
Yeah, we already,
Yeah.
Designated. by
It's all in the
24,
general.
funded by
I don't think we have to have it spent
No.
anymore because it's already assigned.
no,
Right,
we
correct,
did that transfer.
So it's ours, period.
That's old. rule.
ARPA's done.
yeah,
I mean, as far as.
yeah,
we-
I just thought we,
What's in the general is this county's.
right,
I mean, and
yeah,
Well,
it's
we had
just
set
an odd
aside
deal how
for
they
this
started
for
out one way and
tower.
I know.
they just went, oh, go buy a,
I'm
Yeah,
speaking
ski
right,
resort.
aren't I,
I
Terry?
know, yeah,
It
say
was,
again,
that's
I'm right
just
about that.
through my.
All of our
Yeah.
funds
Way off
are ours.
balance.
There's
Right.
a lot of
There's
people.
no,
Yeah.
gotta spend by a
Trying to
certain
live
date.
under
Right,
it's
it.
done.
I think so.
It should be
Yeah, and
guidelines.
then they just threw the guidelines out.
Says we
So-
get
So do
less
we
than-
wanna do a transfer next week? Is that what you're saying? I think.
well, and the typical way that we transfer to EMA is we cut a warrant, we cut a check to
I could- I
EMA,
could
so we
just
would
across
do
the
it,
road and-
yeah, we would do it
receipt
out
back.
of both funds. We could probably do it Monday, cause, usually we have a Wellmark claim on Monday, and we could do it on Monday or
How much of
something
this
out
funds
both
is
funds.
gonna be for the Raycom money? Because what we got,
All of it.
Well,
No, I don't know.
this ain't
Depends
gonna
on,
cover
this-
all
no,
of
I
it.
know,
this
I
list
know.
here, and then, and plus, plus, don't we have fencing you have to pay for?
We just,
Yeah, we
we,
do, and that's what he mentioned.
do we
down
have to
there.
pay for the chain link fence or was that already in something?
The
No,
Jeff Klein fencing,
We
we
have not
still
paid,
have to
we
pay
have not
for.
paid them yet.
How much
See,
is
cause
that?
he hasn't finished down at Dow City, he's,
60,
unless he's done it since the last
60,
week.
I think, Gene.
Has he done,
$60,000
has
for
Jeff
all the
finished the
things.
Yeah,
barbed
'cause
wire?
one was way cheaper, but we have to do the barbed wire down the road, right?
Well, I wanted to do it
Down
now.
City.
He was gonna try to do it all when he's there, right?
Yeah, but he's been there and done the chain link and it's not done yet.
So,
And I tried calling him twice now and I have not got a reply.
Yeah, we really don't want the.
So yeah, he's one of the
we don't want the
expenditures.
cows In or
We
near
don't
that,
know.
the electrical thing.
Right.
We just wanna,
They like to, and they like to rub on fences.
you know,
Yeah, they
well,
do.
that's gonna be a problem at Charter Oak too, because I still just can't understand why the power box on the
outside of
Well, they all are.
Well, that's just poor design. If I had to redo it again, I'd be like, no, do that shit over there.
we might wanna put little fences around them just to.
But we don't need
But I
any
want
of this
to-
on the agenda because it's
Yeah.
already
On
approved through the
there, on the
budget.
corner.
Right. I
We
just
got the
wanted,
direction of
I
what-
mean, you just
Well-
approved a $1.6 million expenditure and I just wanted y'all to know how the dollars and cents
I
were
think
laying
Terry
out
was,
on it.
was very good about doing this, because then that's where we found
Right.
this.
Yeah.
And it just kind of questions some of this other stuff. Is it delivery? At startup is 16, or are we paying more for the
Right.
generator plus 16?
Right.
Then we're gonna do it a different way. We'll have
Right.
down below, our maintenance guy go out and set them up. Like, I mean, it can't be put oil in it and start to, sorry. And I will
As
tell
long as
you,
it doesn't
I will
screw
tell you,
up warranty.
Tim and I went out, we turned on the electricity inside the buildings and plugged in those lights. None of us want to be responsible for an airplane hitting that thing, even though they have a thing with the FAA saying the light is out. Just so you know, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to live with somebody, an airplane hitting that thing because our lights are out. So the lights are working. Have they been going on at night? Yeah, so Tim and I went out and the only thing we turned on was the inside lights and there's an outlet on the outside of the building. And we plugged those into the outlet. That's it. Generator, everything else is shut off. So if we catch hell, my answer is, well, who owns that stuff? I think the county does. We're doing what we think is prudent.
I think it's prudent that we have a.
Yeah.
I think you did fine.
It's a good
Oh,
idea.
I wanted to let you guys know so that if somebody comes off the wall, know what an
If
answer.
there's anybody come up the wall, it's been me a long time ago with all that. You know, that's what bothers me is all these delays and stuff and crap, and then your stuff comes in, other bills, and it's just like, oh, God.
It's
what are
almost
you
like a
doing?
distraction to
Yeah.
delay and then send some other bills, oh, well, no. forget
Well,
that.
and Terry's been damn good about seeing, has this been paid before? And so has Michelle. They both
Yeah.
have been,
Well, and you've caught some stuff too
have been
in
watching some stuff. to
adding
see
up
what
the
hell's going
spreadsheets
on.
and stuff, so we just,
It's a lot.
yeah,
Well, it is. When you're looking at basically a
I
$3 million
appreciate you auditing.
project. It's
yeah, no, that's no
it's tough.
problem.
We have a guy that's supposed to do that and then, I mean, he makes mistakes too. We all do.
Right, we all do.
It's just a big
It's-
project, and
it's
the
true.
money's got us all a little bit.
Yeah. So that EMA column, that EMA fund column, I just wanna reiterate so that 524 is pending the spending, like that, pending the spending of that budgeted dollar amount. That's the rest of that 741. So just so you,
Then if
just
we
so
have
you
to
understand,
amend
so
later,
if
then we'll do
things
that.
don't come in and we don't spend it, that his budget fund
Go up.
balance will be
In
more.
January, when I bring the stuff to you, I will check with Tim and Raycom and say, where are you at? Are we gonna be into the next budget or are we gonna be all done by
Right,
I know we need to know,
right.
Because we need to know what
because otherwise we'll probably have to do it then. Probably.
But you guys will have to do and I'll have to do. I have to do both of them.
Right.
Won't we? Because you'll have to amend to be able to put it in my budget and I'll have to amend to be able to spend
Spend
it.
it.
Right. Yeah,
Oh, so check
Well, I
out-
guess it all depends on kind of the contract we sign with them. I mean, it pretty much spells out when we pay for stuff and that, so. it
Right,
depends on
yeah.
I
how-
know, but it just, yeah, it
It
depends
how
on when
fast
those
they can
things
get
track.
stuff moving.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Exactly.
Which we'd love to have it going yesterday, but
I mean, we can't,
reality is another thing.
but with that saying, we I don't think it'd be smart for us to say, hey, we got $400,000 sitting in there come June 15th or whatever. Can we prepay something? If they haven't started yet,
Now, we can't, I don't think we can do that.
No, you can't.
I know.
You shouldn't.
I mean, unless they got
I wanna
a
follow.
vault full of merchandise sitting
Yeah,
on their name
yeah,
on it.
yep.
Right. So, yeah, so,
Well, yeah, they brought the microwaves over. We haven't paid for those yet.
They're here, they're in our possession.
Yeah, they scratched the book.
Yeah, they scratched the floor.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm pretty sure we'll survive.
Wait till I get done dragging my barbecue grill in.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
come storm spot time, I'm gonna be in there, I was thinking, well.
It ain't going anywhere.
They don't have it stored anywhere. That might be the safest.
Well, we're just doing my warrant check, then. I
Yeah,
think
out
we'll
of
spend
both
as
of
what we
those
can
funds.
right out of EMA, cause then it's.
I know, I
make
think
sure
so
all
too
one
at
spot,
this
yeah.
point, cause there's gonna be so much money now. With the Raycom,
Yeah.
stuff
Paper
and
trail's gonna be
the
important.
finish of these civils and things like that, I just think,
We get the civils and we can wash our hands of that.
yeah,
I think that'd be good.
yeah.
No argument out of me.
But like you said, we're still short money. There's still gonna be a big budget in EMA next year. You're still probably
Finish.
looking at another, 500,000 at least,
And we gotta kind of,
probably more.
I think it's another good
Probably
thing for
more.
us to figure is our long-term, cause Raycom will have their continuing monitoring costs.
Right.
That are obviously gonna be more on 7 towers than
Right.
they've been on 3. I mean, and then whatever other.
Do we wanna
incidentals,
pay for the
pro-
5-year warranty up front, or the monitoring up front, which would save us probably from, if we do it yearly, the price is gonna
Yeah.
go up. So there's just, yeah, I know.
There's a lot of additionals that'll keep going along,
There
I mean,
are.
as far as site maintenance.
The most expensive tower is gonna be the Ridge Road because of the electrical, what it sucks with that. NOA with the weather radio, but they at least pay that back. In rent.
Yeah.
And then if we can get a couple of towers rented out here.
Yep.
At least to something else.
Generate revenue.
That's really gonna help.
Oh, yeah. And I think
It'll happen.
hopefully that'll happen and be where it's kind of a self-supporting, but you're gonna have, the
There's still gonna be
propane, you're gonna have
Yeah.
electric
Well,
bills. I
yeah.
mean, look, we've been signing them already. I mean,
Right.
that's gonna
Yeah.
add up.
Yeah, I
Propane,
would
whatever, that
imagine
will,
the monthly utility bill will be about 300 for each tower.
Yeah.
And then that's like what, 4 something for in the summer for the Ridge Road one.
Yeah.
But when we started this project, we didn't have any ARPA funds.
No,
And
correct.
we had planned on not taking a loan out like the jail and just budgeting year to year our needs.
Well, we were gonna do 1 tower this year, 1 tower the next year, 1 tower
So,
the
I mean,
next year.
If you look at it from that
Right,
standpoint,
right. We're
Right.
hopefully not, we're all paying for it. It's not free money.
it's
but-
not free money,
but-
right? But it just
but we're-
changed the
It's just,
circumstance.
we're only paying cents on the dollar instead
But
of
it's fun to
dollars. on
take,
it.
it's fun to take somebody from New York's money and help us pay for our stuff out here.
Well, Raycom is now owned by a company from New York.
So it's going right back in.
so they're gonna get back.
You didn't have to tell us that, did you? It was so
You
good.
get it back.
The circle of life.
It is.
Exactly.
It is. Well, I appreciate you guys' concerns and my concerns.
Well, we wanna get this
Thanks,
done,
Terry.
get it paid
Yeah.
for.
And Terry,
No, that's
awesome
fine.
job on that. That
Yeah.
really
Thank
helped.
you. I don't wanna step on toes, but I just want,
You
know,
did the right thing.
eyes and ears to be wide open to what's going on. So
It's good to have.
it kind of freaked me out for a moment of time, but.
Yeah, well.
Well, I mean, if we didn't do this, we
There.
wouldn't have any idea what we're supposed
Did you
to do. I
understand
mean,
what I
we
said?
still
That's what Daniel
wanna start
told
doing
Yes.
budget meetings.
Don't take any.
So this is gonna be important to know.
Yeah, it is.
You might have to
There's
check.
as many details as we can find.
Downstairs to check in, what you got.
When do you wanna start doing those?
Notify our
Check part of it.
representative to call the
Can't Put it
conference.
together and do something upstairs.
Yeah, we're gonna
Meeting
go down to
should be
the
done pretty soon, right?
winds and see if they.
Probably.
Need to notify our rep to call the meeting.
Locked thing and then Jared can take it.
Do we wanna have one where we get together and talk about some numbers that we're looking
The
at
city
first?
hall
So that
has
we
a
can
diesel
notify the
generator.
department. You know,
Well,
Well,
here's,
it'll be, yeah,
I,
it'll be-
maybe I'm being
a
awful
diesel, yes.
simplistic
We're
here,
doing
and obviously
natural
this
gas
is just a
citizens.
discussion
Oh, yeah.
topic.
just because it won't be used that
On
much.
the
I
budget.
really don't use, we just need it to, do that refill.
To me, we gotta figure out what we wanna look at for the budget growth if necessary. I mean, like, if we wanna add 3%, just use the numbers, 3% to each department. And then tell each
Would
department,
they do it?
all right, we're gonna give you 3%
Yeah.
for your department. And maybe each department's gonna be different. I mean, obviously Paul's 3% is gonna be extremely a lot larger than the recorder's office, But, here's your 3%. That's all you're getting for all your stuff. That's it, period. Figure out you gotta figure out what you wanna tell your comp board that you wanna have for yours in your 3% budget. You see what I'm getting at?
Mhm.
Then basically helps you obviously establish your stuff prior to. And you see where I'm going? Is anybody tracking me here? I mean,
I am.
I think
I
that
think-
would be a good way to actually look at, this is the only growth that we wanna look in budgeting, you know?
I do think with that, the other side of that coin is our estimates. Where's our revenue actually gonna fall? And, well, how is the exemptions gonna affect us until we all know that? Are we gonna grow by 100,000 or are we gonna be at a deficit of
So that's what I mean.
500,000? So before we can decide that 3%, we kind of need to know.
Where we're gonna stand
And we won't know that number until
next May,
January.
next May.
But I mean, that's, how do you know
Nothing's
what
gonna be
to
written in stone.
give
about things
if
like
we
that.
don't know?
It's-
That's
What our
right. I
revenue
mean,
is.
and that's the other thing that's gonna have to be, that's why I thought, you know, if you could sit down, I mean, what are you gonna need? You mean the Raycom stuff, you can get up with them, here's our projected plan. And obviously, the best laid plans are only applicable until you first engagement, but
Correct.
you know, I mean, we still gotta have something, if we set something out that's a little bit more organized, I mean, it ain't just us hatcheting what you thought you wanted, you know, I mean, it's us working, all right, this is what we think we can afford for your department. If you're right, Dave, until we got our new, if she's gonna, or if the State House is gonna be doing this for the next 3 years,
It's a 5-year program.
yeah, we may never figure it out.
And the thing of it is that the people are gonna elect them because, hey, they're lowering my taxes. They don't
Yeah.
understand what it's doing to us at the city or,
Isn't that just,
or
It's a
you guys
backhand
as the
slap.
county. It is.
Yeah.
It is, because they deal with income tax and sales tax. If you wanna give us a break, lower our income tax and lower the sales tax.
Right.
Of course, that hurts. I mean, it all, no matter what you do, it's gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I'm for getting taxes down, but you also gotta be able to do your dang job.
Well, no, it kills me, Greg, and we've had this discussion before. You look at the wind turbine projects coming in, the pipeline. The wind turbines, they're assessed, what, 30%?
Yeah.
After 6 years?
It's 17.
that's 30.
It's during?
After 8 years.
Or 8 years, it takes so long just to get to the 30%.
Yeah.
Right.
If they work out a deal that brought that up to 40 or 50 and give it to us counties, we'd naturally lower our property taxes
Yeah.
Right.
and charge them their fair share.
Antiquated law.
They changed that, we're on our 20th year, and if they changed it to where if we make any changes, it's gonna have to go on the revenue that it produces. They can't prove any revenue, so we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot to change it. Remember that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's gonna stop that? Oh,
'Cause I
we got
had that all
American
ready to
Energy,
go.
big
Yeah.
lobbyist.
Yep, somehow that got changed.
Let me grease your wheels. You wanna get reelected? Oh, here's.
Well, who owns Mid-American?
Yeah. Feels so
They got
sorry.
enough
Biggest-
money to
biggest
put their
pocket
name
there
on
is.
Jack
Right.
Trice Field. They don't get that way.
I don't know.
Not having a county.
We don't have any answers.
Anyway.
All right, let's bring ourselves back on task.
All right.
Our farm. Thank you all.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks,
Greg.
thanks,
We
Greg,
really want
appreciate it.
south fast.
Thanks for your work on the towers thus far, appreciate that.
We're gaining.
I don't wanna have to go out every night to look at the towers to make sure that the red lights, and then go out during the day and make sure that the white lights are on.
Yeah.
You can just call me and say, hey, Chuck.
I know I got one taken care of, but
Charter Oak. Stan Speece, he can't even see up to his. Actually, I think it looked like his son-in-law must be buying the property around ours now. He was a good guy to talk to too, so.
good.
I think he'll be a good partner.
Tom might have, I think I could.
You should, you should be able to see the whale one
That's what I was thinking.
from your patio.
Show me
But
exactly
you gotta
what-
figure out where it is, cause
Yeah, oh, you
you
find
got all the wind
binoculars?
towers that are all around
Yeah,
it
I
lighting
do.
up.
Wind towers, plus there's
Plus there's
Shorty's
other
tower and
And
the empty tower.
When you see an email response, how come the one in Vale that we were gonna think of buying, it's on Highway 30, those lights have never haven't worked for over a year. Well, by the other day, they're still not.
They're still not working?
Ours are, but not there, not that one.
They should have sold
Been over a
that.
year.
Anyway,
And thank you all.
does anybody else want to hear what I was reading or what I was in my last meeting, or should we?
Yeah,
Really
I
wanna
make
know?
most of it.
Oh.
I would add one thing that I forgot to add.
What's that?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to, I forgot to talk about, remember we gave the money to Plains area? So they're gonna be with our opioid funds. This is some of the literature that they've come out with. And so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update that they're using those funds like we thought they would. So. that was-
Good.
ISAC priority voting is open. You get that email? Take 5
Oh,
minutes,
yeah,
10 minutes.
vote for your legislative priorities.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, I did see that.
I don't think we had a very good turnout last year with supervisors voting, like 34.
Really?
Well, supervisors look at
There's a
emails
lot
and
more
always
of them.
get back to them. The other email comes, so I will do that.
Anyway, I can go over a couple of these things. Most of it's about farm and stuff. This, Bill Burwell. That was the guy that was, at Select USA, that's that International Trade Administration. So I couldn't remember his name earlier. That's who that was. And, I could go over all his marketing and mission statements, but obviously we're at the end of that thing there, so. That just, that there's, I'm very interested in doing that. I just wanna be aware of the cost. You know, I mean, this could easily be, if I went to all the things, I mean, there's a symposium I'm supposed to be going to next month for RAC, that's Rural Action Caucus. That's out in West Virginia. I mean, and that could have cost another $3,000 or in that neighborhood, probably not quite that much, $2,000.
You let us know how much money we'll have, we'll let you know how much you can spend. I think that's what you were just saying. a little bit.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, you know, I mean, what are we gonna have? I mean, for bills or what? That's what I said when we started this. I mean, it looked to me like things were gonna be more expensive than going to Des Moines.
But ideally, we're gonna get up those numbers in January, you think?
Hopefully. I mean, I do valuations in December, so.
See, one thing on the pipeline before we,
Well, into budget planning, see.
Probably.
one thing on the pipeline before, there's a water usage webinar, or Zoom meeting tonight. Thing goes out with. Anyway, it's tonight. I was gonna try to watch it. It don't start till 7. I got some other things to do too. That was up in one of the other counties and gonna show about water usage at the pipeline. You guys were talking about that earlier. I didn't miss
Wednesday
that.
night, Kinkle is gonna be at the Sierra Clubs. I think Steve Kinkle's gonna be a guest there.
Is it?
Well,
there's-
Wow.
that's pretty impressive, but just how you know, when you sit on these, when you're talking about economic development, look for people that are coming in and build a big business and use zero drops of water. I mean,
Yeah. Everybody's gonna use water.
Everybody.
Exactly.
And that's, but that's also why I'm on a committee to
Bring a
help
rain
look
cloud
for other
with them or
sources of
something.
water for us. So, I mean, that one's
But even the.
kind of this,
What about the
in my
counties?
position as supervisor, but extracurricular. I mean, it's not even a
Has $1
committee.
million
You guys direct.
general fund. How do you budget? Not knowing what your revenue is gonna be. I mean, we're lucky enough because we've been prudent throughout the years to have the $6 million in our general fund that if we had to emergency dip into, we could.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that and you don't know where your revenue's at, how do you even begin to budget?
I wish we get in the auctioneering business, because they're gonna start selling these counties off one by one. 6% of the counties,
We'll be sharing.
6% of, yeah,
You see that comment, Sherry?
oh, I got it.
You see the comment that?
Oh, yeah.
While you're talking about that, here's an interesting little slide they had up yesterday. Farm businesses in almost all regions except, well, except 2 of their, I don't know how they, who sets up these regions. I guess it's the economic force, but, 2 of them, the eastern uplands, which is kind of Kentucky up through Virginia, is basically like through the mountain range there. And then, Arkansas, a little bit of Missouri, down in the Ozarks, which is typically cattle country. Right, that's their main ag business, which cattle have been worth a little bit. Them two areas are up 1% in net income in farming for 2023. Every other one of them, including the Heartlands, down 22%, Northern Great Plains 11%, the Basin and Range, that's basically Western cattle country, is down 16%. Texas, their fruit rim and their fruitful rim and all that stuff, they call it 19%. The Northern Prairie Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, 16% down. Everything's down on the net income for farming. And most of that, by this economist, was due to interest costs and input costs,
Oh, yeah.
the inflationary input costs. And, you know, it's things for us to be thinking about as we're taxing going forward. I mean, a lot of our bigger tax property is our farming. And, well, I mean, there was some pretty good slides on this, you know, I mean, farm business, and, you know, this here was showing, the different things on commercial, intermediate, and residents on the type of farm it is and where its income and debt asset ratio. Here was the interesting part. If you remember back in the 80s, you know, interest problems and debt is what kicked the butt out of our farms. There's farms out there, and I don't know who they are. I mean, you guys are pretty good farmers, in my opinion. I'm sure you gotta borrow some money to operate. There's farms out there that aren't borrowing. Right now, there's like a 2% on what's being borrowed debt service on some of the farming out there. There's a lot of farms out there. I should say a lot. There was a number of farms out there that don't borrow money at all right now. I don't know what the heck they're farming, but
You gotta, here, it's a number game again, so. Out of that 2%, how much of the total farm ground do they farm?
yeah.
Is it 1% of it, is it 10%, that 2% only farms 10% of all the farm ground?
Right.
Cause I'm sure them people are, I'm sure are the AKA the Mark Spiegels or the Dick Kregels that are virtually, you know, they've been farming for 50 years, everything's paid for.
Yep.
They don't borrow any money,
Yeah.
but they're gonna retire within the next year.
Exactly.
Or did retire a year ago or whatever. And then there's always some that are small, they're considered a farm, but they might farm 5 acres of vegetables that have no money borrowed.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yep. And-
production agriculture is still a big upfront money game. And you take an interest rate from 3% and shove it up to 8% for operating money.
Yeah.
Here was
Still
another,
better than the 80s, they said.
here was a neat graph, and this one went clear back into the 70s. Farm sector solvency forecast to improve. I mean, debt to equity ratio and a debt to asset ratio, and it shows back in the early 80s where it really spiked. See that spike there? Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have it, can't put it up there. But, I mean, it's showing, we're not gonna be at our lowest point, but, we're at 14.58 on the equity ratio, and then the asset ratio are at 12.72. So, I mean, it got closer together and it stayed steady, but I mean, our farming sector actually is in pretty good shape. I mean, that was, I mean, I was gonna get kind of nervous, but right now, cause it looked like because of interest rates and stuff, it might get, but it's still actually going down, like staying steady, but it went down.
My biggest fear, Ty, is that we do have we stay at 9, 10, maybe we get up to 12% interest.
Yeah.
All of a sudden commodity prices stay at $4.50 corn and
Yeah.
$10-12 beans. That don't work. And then when you look at our federal crop, yeah, this year with a price set at $5.91, what's next year? We don't have a safety net.
Exactly.
Then you have a farm bill.
Well,
And the House Republicans can't even elect a speaker of the House.
yeah, and nothing can be voted on until there's one of them sitting there. Yeah, and that was some of the stuff as they were talking about this, that was what I was worried about. We're in a county that's pretty good at paying its property tax,
We're just not
but
having
how hard
budget
does that get
plan,
if
just
we
say
start
we
having
can't elect a
financial?
speaker.
But,
4 or 5 years without having.
I don't know, I was encouraged that it looks like the economic plan out there, in spite of the interest, is still doing a little better than, I don't know, that was just, that was our ag committee. This was probably a little less to do with legislative stuff, but it was, this would have been one would have been fun for you guys to all been on to sit in on with me. I mean, if you found any of that interesting, I do. And I like listening to them economists talk, see where sometimes it's hot air and it'll change next month,
Yeah.
but,
Prediction.
you know, that's, I don't, look at this here chart was showing, lower prices driving most of the decline in cash receipts, you know. I mean, it was price change. I don't know, like, without having that on the board, it's hard to explain it to you guys.
Your phone's a little small for
Yeah,
giving me
for
the
sure,
glasses.
yeah. And that's the thing is without having something I can put up, it's hard to explain.
So you can see-
But it's, our farm economy right now is sustaining, it's sustaining itself. How's that? Anything else anybody wants to bring before the board? Otherwise, is there any citizens input from the people on Zoom? Bonnie Toy, Patty. Assume that's your mom, Cindy. Okay, think we've,
No hands up?
pretty much, I don't see anybody making noise, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
That's Heidrich, Mr. Dozark. All in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Aye. Have a good day.
Thank you.